So I'm at Black Bear Resort. Last night, end of the day, I got a weather report. It said 0% chance of precipitation today. Of course, when I got up this morning and it was snowing, I decided, well, let's check again. And I got another weather forecast and it said 0% chance of precipitation. Pretty sure I should be worried if I get a weather forecast that says it's supposed to start to snow. It's snowing and it's starting to build up. And from here, there's like 500 down stone steps to Laurel Falls or whatever. And I'm probably going to zero today because I don't really want to fall down 500 stone steps to Laurel Falls in the ice and snow. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Off and on today, it has looked kind of like a blizzard. It's been snowing hard. And it hasn't been the little rain, little sleet, little snow mix that we had the day before. It's been snowing hard. OG was here. He hiked in late the night before, and I drove down into Hampton and we went out to eat, and he did his resupply, took him shopping and stuff like that. And when I came down into 19E, when I hiked in a couple days ago, my feet were cold. I had switched to the Ultra Olympus, which I'd been happy with walking, but if it's wet, your feet get wet, and if it's cold, your feet are wet and cold. And my feet were wet and cold, and I don't like having cold feet. So when I went back out the next time, I switched back to the Keen Flex boots that I had started the hike with. Very glad I did, because that next day hiking, my feet were good. And I was pleased with that. And then I went out again, and yesterday with the Flex, and I was happy. I'm going to stick with them for a little bit, maybe till Damascus. I should be in Damascus in less than a week. I like keeping my feet warm, so I switched. I had also stopped carrying my mitten shells, the heavy shells. I put those back in a couple days ago when the weather turned cold again. Very glad I did. Those were on and off yesterday, all day. With the mitten liners sometimes, without the mitten liners other times, just depending on, because when you're going up, you get warm, and by dropping layers simply like that, by just taking the shells off or pulling my hood off or whatnot, you're able to do a lot. It's an easier way to regulate your body temperature than taking your pack off and dropping a layer, a jacket or a mid layer or something like that. So I've added those. When I go back out again, I'm going to add my scarf, my wool scarf, which I wore for the first month and a half hiking, and then I had taken it off. It's been cold around here. I mean, when it's 20 and the wind is ripping, and there's almost always wind when you get up in the mountains. So when it's 20 degrees and the wind is ripping, it can get cold. And when you're hiking, it's easy to stay warm, but if you stop for a little bit, it gets cold pretty quick. So the scarf gives me some flexibility. I can pull it up over my face and adjust it a little bit, and I'll also have it at night if I want it at night. So going back to, I'm also, because of the amount of snow we've been having, I have a lighter weight pair of Black Diamond micro spikes. I'm going to add those back into my gear as well, because I'm concerned about getting myself caught in some, freeze thaw ice sheets from the snow and whatnot that we've been having. So yeah, updating and changing a little bit with the weather. Didn't really expect it to get this cold again in this area, but it is. Good morning. I'm going to do something a little different than what I've done before. There are 4 very popular hostels in a fairly short period, in a 33-mile stretch. I stayed at 3 of them, and I visited the 4th. I know I go to more hostels than most people do, and I spend more time not hiking. Yeah, I know, I'm good at that. I do it because I can, and I like to do it, and I've kind of decided that showing some of these is part of what I'm trying to do with my video. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk about 4 hostels, and there are others in the area, but 4 hostels in that stretch of the area, and give you a little bit of background on each, and particularly for the hikers, perhaps make it a little easier for you to decide where you want to go, because most people won't stay at all of them. So in the 4 that I'm going to talk about are the Station at 19E, Mountain Harbor, B&B, Black Bear Resort, and Boots Off Hostel. So in some particular order, kind of geographic, I'm going to start by talking about the station at 19E. It's a bar. I went there, had a beer. I talked to a bunch of people who stayed there. So a couple guys that shuttled out of there. One guy who tried to get a shuttle out of there. It's a bar. They have a kitchen. You can order food, bar type food that you would order. And they have beds upstairs. Everything from an area with mattresses on the floor to some small private rooms so if you want to go up and get a shower and sleep after you visited the bar and had something to eat, that's what it is. I didn't talk to anyone who stayed there said, oh my God, I never want to go back. It was horrible. I didn't talk to anyone who stayed there who said, oh wow, it was great. I look forward to going there again. Everybody got kind of what they expected. A bar with a place to sleep. The prices didn't seem particularly cheap to me. Quite a bit for what you were getting. It is run by hikers, guys that have hiking background, so they kind of know what you're looking for. And they have some resupply, and they're trying to make the hikers happy. They stressed the karaoke night was on Friday, and which to me would be, oh boy, I don't want to be there that night, but they were pitching it in the opposite. It is what it is, and if that's what you're looking for, I don't think there's a lot of surprise. I talked to one guy who got a shuttle out of there. He said, the driver was great. She had a lot of information and what have you, and it was fine. It's not one of their primary business models, I don't think, is shuttling. They do it some, but I didn't talk to many people who had shuttled. As you come down onto 19E, Tennessee 19E, the route, you hang a right. It's kind of uphill, about 4/10 of a mile. You walk up to the place. Not far. And it's right there as you're heading up like I say, you get to the road, you hang a right, and it's on your left. You can't miss it, really. Not a lot of outdoor area, it's a bar with food and resupply and a place to sleep. And shower, of course, and whatnot. Okay, moving on. Same basic location, sort of. You come onto 19E, and instead of hanging a right, you hang a left. And you're going to go, on the road it's 0.4, but if you get down just a little ways, they've built their own kind of back trail that comes into their backyard, which probably makes it nice because it gets you off what is, in fact, a very busy road, which doesn't have a great place to stay off, a lot walking area, if you will. But take that back trail to go down to Mountain Harbors. They're known, they claim they have the best breakfast on the Appalachian Trail. When I was there, they weren't doing any breakfast. Not only did they not go from the best breakfast to a limited breakfast, they had nothing. Nothing at all. They made the comment of, to a couple of us have heard the comment, it was like, well, when it's only hikers here, we may not do the breakfast. And there were a couple of, when it's only hikers, that they have a bed and breakfast focus, a nice place. Their bunk room is only 6 people, 4 in the main bunk room and 2 in a loft area. They have 1 private room, which is very small. I rented that. Couldn't stand up in most of it, had slanted ceiling. There was 1 outlet in the room, which was taken up by a lamp and a heater, which meant there were no outlets in the room, which, we all go in and need to charge stuff, so that was kind of annoying. It had 2 small beds. Was not cheap. Parking, you can park there. It's $3 a day if you use their shuttle. If you use someone else's, it's $10 a day. There was a comment of, all the other shuttles are really expensive. If you go to town, it'll be like $70 or whatever. And so I took their shuttle up to Carver's Gap. In fact, their shuttle cost more than if I'd gone with the local shuttle driver I was using. In fact, all of their shuttles are more. So they're not a bargain. They're not friendly to the rest of the community. And several times the comment of only hikers, I don't like that because I'm here as a hiker, so I'm only a hiker, you're not a B&B guest or whatever. So nice laundry facility and whatnot. Their common area had no heat. In the hostel, I'm sure they had a nice common area for their B&B guests up in the main house, but not down in the hostel area. Talk on the ride up, talking with the shuttle driver, he says, oh yeah, sometimes we shuttle 140 people a day up to Carver's Gap in the summertime. Clearly a big part of their business model. Those are not through hikers, none of them are through. They're people that go up to Carver's Gap to either hike, either north or south. There's hiking in both directions up there, but anyway. They have a food truck and a sitting, eating area that wasn't open when I was there. It's open in the summer. So I didn't get the breakfast. I didn't do the food truck area. I was early, so a lot of that was me. They have a limited resupply. If you want to pick the best breakfast on the AT, and they're doing it when you come through, which they probably will be outside of the early season when I went through, you probably ought to go there, because all reports I've heard is they have an absolutely wonderful breakfast. I stayed there one night, did not want to, I was going to stay in the area, but I didn't have a feel that I wanted to stay there anymore. I did my one night and got out. Most of the community is very interactive and supportive of each other, and I didn't get that feel there. And I didn't like being just a hiker. So I went from Mountain Harbor over to Black Bear Resort. Black Bear Resort is at mile 420, so it's a little bit farther on. It's also at the end of a very long, curvy road, which won't matter to most of you, but if you're driving up to it, it's got like a 5 mile long, it's not a driveway, it's a road, but it seems like a 5 mile long driveway. Very narrow, very curvy road going up. I really liked the people. They're there trying to make you feel comfortable. They're very friendly. Their bunk room is comfortable. It's not as fancy as some of the others. You don't have an outlet in. You don't have your own light. You have curtains. But there's a big table set up with the charging stations and whatnot. And a couple of guys commented, well, it could be easily a couple more bunks in here if they want it. It's not crammed in quite as much. They've left space for you in there. They got okay resupply. They don't do breakfast. They have stuff in the freezer. If you want to get, breakfast sandwiches and whatnot, you buy them the night before. And they've got a decent common area. The coffee is usually ready to go in the morning, and they've got a microwave, and they've got a little pizza. They got a pizza cooker thing that works a lot better than microwaving a pizza. That they specifically got that to try to get you a decent thing. They got really nice showers, big shower area, and they got a men's room and a ladies' room. Most of the places don't have that. It's common. But they have 2 showers in the men's room and 2 showers in the ladies' room, and bathrooms, two bathrooms in each. So they also have a lot of really nice cabins. That's also a big part of their business model, I think mostly to non-hikers. They have 0.4 off trail, about the same distance as the other two, but it's pretty flat. Not a big uphill or downhill to get there. And like I think I said, they got some resupply. They will shuttle. I did take a shuttle out of there, and their shuttle rates are about the same as everybody else's. They don't have any problem with you dealing with the local hikers. Local shuttles and whatnot. So they speak well of them, and they're very interactive and friendly. You can park there. They have a little area up the hill, separate area where you can park, and their parking is the same price as basically everybody else's. I stayed there several nights. I liked it. They were nice people. They were friendly. They made you feel like you were welcome and you belonged there. They got some outdoor area. They're not really set up to be a big party type of location. So if you come along with a big family and looking to have that stereotypical summer evening, get-together social event, I bring you Boots Off. A little bit further on, Boots Off is at 428.5. They have 3 little cabins. They have a very nice bunk room. Everybody's got a curtain, everybody's got a light, everybody's got an outlet. Prices are very reasonable. They got a decent resupply area. You got Pringles there as the host now. She's hosted another hostel somewhere else, and she's a pass-through hiker. She knows what the hikers are looking for. They have an outdoor bucket shower, which she says, oh, everybody loves it. Not so much in the winter, people, because my feet got cold. But it's painted real fancy and real cool, and it's big, and it's got, like I said, the water pours into a bucket, and then this bucket full of holes pours it down on you. It's quaint, I guess. Nice common area. They do a small breakfast in the morning. They had donuts and cereal and coffee, and I appreciated that. They have the biggest outdoor fire area I've ever seen. They've got amphitheater-style seating around their big fire ring. When you're in a hostel that has an area with a sign that points to the stage area, they're there with the intent of having an event, being a big social thing. They have a big camping area all laid out down below. They have a glamping, wall tent with propane heat and all that, if you're into that sort of thing. I think they have a tree house, which I didn't really look at. It would be a great, if you're traveling with a good family and you want to do a summer, social evening together, this is probably the place. They're set up for it. I stayed there twice. I went once and stayed in the cabin, once and stayed in the bunkhouse. Prices are reasonable. It's right off the trail. It's technically a little closer to the trail than the other two, but I'll take points off because it's uphill. There's a big the road is uphill, not a lot, but then when you get to their driveway, they've got a long, steep uphill driveway. So as far as I'm concerned, they're about the same distance off the trail as the other 3. That's my wrap up on the, longer than it should have been, but that's my wrap up on the 4 hostels in that area. They're each different, and I try to give you a picture of, so you can go to the one or the ones that work best for you. I hope you are having a wonderful day.